these drivers' ways.
It's certainly been an interesting 11 weeks. We've certainly seen the series grow, not just in talent, but sportsmanship, racecraft, everything else in between. That it's quite a difference seeing where we started at Suzuka and where we're about to finish at Suzuka. It's going to be very intense racing, and there's just a lot of improvement all throughout the field. Stephen Case certainly going to be a class of it. You see Mikowitz, he's been at the top of the board as well in the practice times, only 2/10 off. I expect him to give a good run to Stephen Case as well. He may not win the championship, but there's a lot of people who are looking to set themselves up. As we know, we're getting ready to take the Inter Alien class and bring them into a Formula 3 class next year or next season with the SRG Sim Racers Group Formula 3 series that will begin. So a lot of guys are looking to make sure they make a statement and aren't forgotten about as we go into a new season.
Yeah, and looking through the names that we've had here in Season 2 of 2025 here for the Sim Racers Group Intermediate F4 Championship, Stephen Case, your current top-running driver in this practice session, is your Inter-Alien champion. In Inter 1, it's Josh Corwin, who's been able to seal the deal in that class. In Inter 2, has been absolutely dominated by Dan Bujak, who has many, many wins up to this point, including a streak that he's on right now of 5 straight coming into this, the final race of this season. But man, it has been a wonderful ride up to this point here in Season 2 of 2025 for the Sim Racers Group F4 Series, and looking to cap things off in style here at the very same racetrack that kicked it all off, second tries a charm, all the way back in March. And looking at this practice session right now, looking pretty good. The usual front sitters are up towards the front end, with the top 11 composed entirely of Inter Alien, who you can see marked out in red, and Inter 1 drivers that you can see marked out in that yellowish orange color there, with the likes of Adrian Lopez and some of the others that you see inside the top 10 and throughout the rest of the field. Do want to raise one point though, talking about one driver that I'm rather interested in here is going to be your P5 practice runner at the present moment of Jason Green in the 160 car. Now, to those who tune into the Sim Racers Group Series exclusively here on Slow Motion Broadcasting, first off, welcome into tonight's broadcast. We hope you enjoy it. And secondly, let me, as the Weekend Warriors guy here on SMB, let you know that Jason Green is a very, very quick racer. He's involved in 3 separate championship battles at the moment in the Formula V, Formula Ford, and Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors that he can catch on Saturdays and Sundays here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. He is also the team captain of Slow Motion Racing, our esports team, and is also one of the co-hosts of the Racing Line podcast that you can catch on Tuesdays over on the Ray Esports YouTube channel. Jason Green, a very, very quick racer here in the sim, and looking to see how he'll do in his series debut. There he is in the 160 car, heading his way down into Casio Triangle, the final chicane around this racetrack, and currently slotted 5th at the moment here, Kennen. So clearly, it being an F4 car, something I haven't really seen him in before. He's still just as quick as ever.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to be the guy to toot my own horn on the only series I exclusively broadcast here with the Slow Motion Broadcasting Network, but Jason Green talked about as a very fast driver in many other series. Right now, he's 9/10 off, almost a second behind the fastest we have here in the Sim Racers Group Formula 4 series. So I think it's a testament to really the talent and the ability that we see here week after week on Wednesday nights. It's a lot of speed. It's a lot to catch up to. We look at good guys. We think they're fast. Put them in a different car, a little different group around them. Sometimes maybe they're not the highest of the cream of the crop, I suppose, as we should say.
We still have some very talented racers here in this series. 2 minutes left to go in this practice session for the final race of this season. And now, one thing to raise as well about the Sim Racers Group Series is it is a very strong community. You've got some absolutely fantastic members running in this series. And sadly, on February 28th, 2025, the Sim Racers Group community lost one of their brightest members. William Billy Campbell Peach was beloved for those by those who he shared the racetrack with, and remembered as a quiet leader, respectful racer, and a friendly person who helped those around him. In the SRG community, Billy is awarded the Billy Award is awarded to an Inter 2 driver in the series who shows the qualities that made Billy the loved and respected racer that he was. At the end of Season 1, Adam Duvall was named the first ever winner of the Billy Award, and for Season 2 of 2025, the Billy Award has gone to SRG member Embriette Hyde. You can see Embriette in the number 93 car, and as she heads her way off into 130R. We would like to congratulate Embriette and wish the family of William Campbell Peach nothing but the best. Billy was a driver who I got the opportunity to cover a few times when I had the opportunity to be here in the booth back in season 1 of 2025. Sadly lost him right before the final race of that season, which was a race that was not held in honor of him. But nice to see this award created. He was a driver who I got the opportunity to commentate on, as I said a few moments ago. Very nice to see an award given out to a very deserving member of the SRG community, a very deserving racer as well, currently slotted 31st here in this practice session with 10 seconds left to go. Once we click over to the end of this 45-minute long session, we are now going to get the wheels turning in this qualifying session. 15 minutes long. These drivers will have to share the racetrack with each other, and when we get to this qualifying session, Kennen, it is going to be just an absolute flurry of craziness.
Certainly is the highlight of almost every race night here in the Sim Racers Group Formula 4 Series. The open qualifying really presents a challenge in many different ways. It all depends on your pit stall, how easy you can get out, how you can find a line. You can't let other people in front of you back you up, but you also want, even at a track like Suzuka, there's several straightaways where using the draft is going to be very beneficial. You're going to spend a lot of your 15 minutes trying to find who to work with, who to not work with, how to leave a proper gap. You can't leave a little too close. It starts to back you up at the end of the lap. So it's a lot of different strategies. It really presents a lot of problems for a lot of drivers. We see it week after week, and it always makes it exciting for qualifying.
Looking forward to this qualifying session, but as we are at the start of it, let's take a quick look at the championship points. We talked about this right before we really got things up and rolling in this race, how Stephen Case is your provisional Inter-Alien champion. Now, he doesn't have it yet, but what he needs to do is qualify his car and then roll about 5 feet away from his starting spot, take that green flag, and then you'll be your champion. So Stephen Case pretty much locked in to win it in Inter-Alien, but it is rather close between Kayla Michaelwitz and Danush Paborji. You can see those two cars covered by about 4 points as it stands presently. Alex Velasco slotted in 4th. Obe Oladipo is running in P5 at the present moment. Chris Eggert in 6th with Skylar Vickroy rounding out your 7 cars that are classified in Inter-Alien. Last of those racers, probably going to see them in the brand new Sim Racers Group Advanced F3 series coming to slow motion broadcasting in season 3 of 2025. And we'll see the same as well for some of these top runners in Inter 1, where Josh Corwin has just about sealed the deal when it comes to that championship with 175 points on the board. Series admin Jason Cotcher slotted in P2. Adrian Lopez rounds out the top 3 at the present moment, rather close to himself and a full Ganesh with Chris Wang rounding out to top 5 at the present moment in Inter 1. We take a quick look at Inter 2, where it has been the story of dominance for Daniel Bujak in the number 36 car. He's up to, I think, 8 wins at this point already this season. 6 in a row coming into the final race of this championship here tonight. Holds on to a rather big points lead. 189 points is what he scored already, compared to the 130 of Lloyd Conway in 2nd. The 117 of Adam Duvall slotted in P3. Igor Grunsky at 104 with Jose Navas Molina slotted in P5 at 100 points even. So that's how it looks in Inter 2. That's how it looks in all of our championship points heading into the final race of this season. As much as we may not have championship battles for the top running spots, we've still got some pretty good battles to look at in terms of the lesser positions, for lack of a better term.
While we aren't crowning a champion today, there's certainly a lot of drivers out here who need to put off the best run they've put together all season long, and it can really leapfrog them a good 3-4 positions potentially, depending on how other drivers' days go. And as we know, it's a no damage series, so it does allow that while you do have the time loss of an incident and getting yourself back on track, you are able to continue going, which is just phenomenal for everybody in the league. But you see the 3 champions, I expect all of them. Obviously, the Inter-Aliens are going to be going to an F3 next season, but even in the other classes, I expect to see them to move up, if not all the way up into the F3 season themselves. They've been very dominant throughout every week, and Yeah, we're just looking forward to seeing how we have it all going together.
And as we are still rather early into this qualifying session, I think we'll do a quick little lap guide here with Stephen Case in the 243 car as he has his way through the Casio Triangle. And Kennen, I'm going to pass the buck off to you. How many give the track out around this wonderful racetrack?
Yeah, so thankfully we're doing the full course, the Formula One circuit, and a lot of people are very familiar to it. Very high speed, long straightaway. This is where you're going to see a lot of drivers taking advantage of the draft. They're going to look inside into a hard dive, right into the spoon, as they call it, a double apex. You've got to give it everything you can, bleeding into the left, easy into the right-hand corner, and now we're going to go right into the S's. A lot of people would consider them a little awkward. They're very flowing. You have to let the car roll. You're going to hold it tight here, just right on the apex until you can bring it back. Now this is going to lead us into another double wide left-hand apex. And it goes into what I would consider the toughest corner of the entire racetrack. A very high-speed, hard right-hander. It almost looks on paper like you should come to a near stop to make it. You're going to send it right off of the apex, up into the curving, and then hard on the brakes, leading us uphill into the well-known hairpin before we get into the very fast-speed backstretch. As you're going to see, he's going to hang it right on the curb, very hard on the brakes, very slow, very much strong steering inputs, full power all the way out, catches the curbing, leads it right into our next, the 130R, I believe this is called, another double apex left-hander where speed is very much crucial. This track relies on a lot of speed. It's not always good passing speed, but that's the way you get around the track the fastest. You see, touching curbs all the way through, inside, outside, inside. Bring it back all the way down into what I would consider the back straightaway. It's going to lead you into a near flat-out left-hander going through the south pits, and this is actually the 130R, excuse me on my improper turn naming earlier. This flat out all the way, you've got to touch the curb. If you let the car go wide here, you can have a really bad consequence of hitting that wall, and then right into the final chicane. A hard right, use every bit of the curb you can, back to the left, off to the curbs. Now you're just going to keep it as tight as you can on a qualifying lap, the shortest way around, back on the front straightaway, and that's a lap of the Suzuka full circuit.
And one of the longest tracks we've visited all throughout this season, and what a time to ride on board with Stephen Case as he jumps up to the provisional pole to 2 minute 2.878. He's currently about a half a second in front of Kalen Michaelwitz, slotted in P2 with Obe Oladipo running at top 3 as it stands at the present moment. Tyrone De Silva is your top qualifying Inter 1 driver as it stands presently, as Michaelwitz gonna punch his way up to the front, getting a strong draft, it must be said, from the back of that number 17 car right in front of him. Now, Kennen, I just mentioned a few moments ago talking about the length of this track, and because of how long it is and because of how fast it is in these F4 cars, which can be draft monsters, as we just saw there a couple of moments ago, you can shoot your way up to the top of the running order just with a very good draft around here. As much as you might have to worry about dirty air at some points, that draft benefit that you get is so strong here.
Yeah, you gotta hope Kalen Michaelwitz after that kind of run, hopefully maybe takes Igor Grunsky out for some sushi or something after the race, because that is quite the draft that you need. There's certain areas where the way the flowing SS sections work, you really don't want to be held up by cars, but if you time it perfect and can get a little extra pickup coming on the back stretch entering 130R or the front stretch, I mean, it's going to add tons to your time. And I think we just saw it right there. Kalen Michaelwitz overtaking Stephen Case barely by, what, a quarter of a hundredth of a second, which is just incredible how close everybody is at the top right now.
I think part of the reason why that is the case is down to the fact this is a track that these drivers have a lot of experience on. I mean, hey, it was a host of round number 1 of the season for crying out loud. Of course they have some experience running around here. This track is not part of base content here in The Sims. These drivers do have to buy it, but it's such a historic track in the world of racing. And even despite it being behind that paywall to new racers here in The Sim, it's one of those where you kind of have to buy it if you're a big road course fan. So these drivers certainly have their experience running around here, and that is both a blessing and a curse to these racers. It is a blessing to have a lot of experience, so you know the ropes, you know how to get around this place, but at the same time, that confidence can serve to be overconfidence at certain points in time. So it's a double-edged sword. You've got that one of where you can really attack and be comfortable attacking, but at the same time, you've also got that end that's going to stab you in the back a little bit because you think, okay, I've got this. I know exactly how to go into this corner, and then you just end up overcooking it, spinning in it with how close this field is. You spin at some point in this race, you're going to drop down like
I think as much as people look at this track and think it's a historic track, it's very much an iconic track. It's going to challenge every bit of the car, no matter what car you're in, whether that's a GT car, you're in a Honda Civic, you're in a Formula 4 car, or a Formula 1 car. This track's known for testing the wits of every bit that you can get out of it, and it brings a lot of high speed. So if you want to run faster, you've got to be able to kind of hide your fears away and take the corners with the speed that your car allows you to. They're certainly capable at a track like Suzuka.
Yeah, this is certainly one of those tracks where bravery will reward you, but too much bravery will punish you. I think that's the best way that you can describe a track like Suzuka in these F4 cars, which, as I've described on many, many occasions, as long as I've been doing broadcast with Formula 4 machinery here on the iRacing platform, it's basically just a go-kart with plywood wings on it that have been painted over. So, a very rudimentary car, this, but it is so fun here in this sim. And one more thing to raise, albeit this is definitely a bit on the back burner, because we don't know how things are going to work out when we switch over to Season 3 of iRacing here in a couple of, probably about 10 days time, give or take, something like that. I don't know, I'm not very good with dates. Ever since I graduated high school about 2 years ago, you could tell me whether or not it's like a Monday or a Friday, I would have no idea. So you can tell I whacked my head too many times as a kid. But regardless, we will have to think about the way these cars may end up driving Season 3 of 2025. But hey, that's a discussion for future us to have. For now, though, we've got to worry about the way these cars are driving. And they drive like a gem here in this sim. Super rewarding, super fun. They can put you on your butt if you overstep that mark a little bit. But these racers, they know that balance. They know how to dance their way around these racetracks as if they're on Dancing with the Stars. Dancing with the Suzukas. That we have the same ring to it. I think those people over at ABC or whatever network Dancing with the Stars ended up on, I think they know how to name shows better than I do. But Stephen Case is still at the front at the present moment, a 202.630. That game between himself and Kalen Michaelwitz of provisional pole leapfrog, so to speak, is still very much going on.
Yeah, Stephen Case just put down a really crazy time to take back the lead on the pole sitting position. We've got just under 4 minutes left in qualifying. I would think every driver on the course right now has a minimum of 1 lap that they'll still be able to turn hot. We're really winding down to seeing what all the drivers have for their final times. But Stephen Case put down a pretty defiant lap, 200 thousandths of a second faster than Kalen Michaelwitz, and that's really just finding every little ounce of speed, every little corner where you think you didn't quite give enough, you can give it a little extra as long as the car sticks. This is certainly the track where you can take the time from it.
And here we go. This is Jason Green in the 160 car. I mentioned him a little bit earlier on in this broadcast. Very quick driver in the Weekend Warriors world, making his Sim Racers Group debut here tonight. And let's see what he's going to do in this qualifying session. Yet to set time on the board, but he's a good racer. Let's see as he has his way off through turns number 1 and 2. Missing the apex a little bit there, must be said, through turn 2. That's always such a tough corner to try and get right as you try and get on the brakes. You drop those anchors down to turn 2 after dealing with the very quick right-hander of turn 1. That's always a corner where I seem to struggle, but again, very good reason why behind the microphone instead of behind the Jason Green, though. Quick racer heading his way out of the S's right now as a car a little bit farther up the road, which won't provide a lot of dirty air, but will provide a bit of a slipstream once he comes out of Spoon Curve of turn 13 and down that back stretch and off into 130 over.
See, I'm kind of surprised that he hasn't been able to, but I've been keeping an eye on him throughout the entire qualifying session. He's had a lot of off tracks. He's really found himself tough. It looks like he's actually going to board this lap, which he should have enough time to hit the start-finish line. As we know, when it hits the 15-minute mark, as long as you are still under green when you start your flying lap, you will be allowed to complete it. So he kind of killed that lap. He's backing off. I think he's trying to find a way to make a little bit of space, which, like you brought up, that car in front could have provided him a slipstream, but I think he saw it more as a deficit than a benefit there. So we'll see what he gets together on this final run, or he may have an issue starting from the rear of the field.
Ooh, how tempting is it? I can see Jason Green along with our old pal here at Slow Motion Broadcasting and race winner overall at Fuji a couple of weeks ago, Mr. Adam Thompson. Those two are off in the Slow Motion Racing Discord server right now. I do have access to that voice chat, and how tempting is it to go in there and ask Jason Green whether or not he's trying to do some sort of last to first challenge? I may end up having to pop a message off to him being like, hey, are you trying to do this intentionally, or are you just not able to get a good lap time in? He could have potentially picked up an off track as he headed his way out of, I believe it was turn number 9, Deckner 2, around this racetrack right before the bridge in the run up to the hairpin. I think he ran a little bit wide heading off through there and picked up an off track. He has set a lap time, but it's all the way down in P26 is where Jason Green finds himself at the present moment. I'm not sure if he's on another lap either. I will look to see whether he's out there on the racetrack. Yes, he is. He's heading his way off through the S's right now. So this will be his last attempt to try and get a time in. And now Jason was up there towards the front in the practice session earlier on. Let's see if he can take another step up here in qualifying and actually be able to set in a good representative lap time.
See, he may be able to improve a few positions, but so far it looks like the line he's taking is very conservative. He's not trying to risk an off track. I think he's seen that a lot. He may have gotten an off track right there, though. That was very close. So we'll have to see what comes up as he hits the spoon and then down into the backstretch. But he hasn't aborted the lap yet. Maybe he's been lucky, but really tough qualifying session for him. It's like I said previously, I think it's kind of a welcome to the SRG Formula 4 series, where it's really a lot harder than maybe the eyeball meets sometimes. So I think he's setting himself up for a challenge. He was only 5th fastest in practice, so I don't see why there's a reason to gloat and start from the back, but we'll just kind of come to find out what happens during the 20-minute race, it appears.
As Danush Baburgi has jumped up into P3 in this qualifying session in the past couple of moments, is about 0.7 of a second slower than your provisional pole sitter, who is still Stephen Case, as Jeff Shillage jumps up to the top, jumps up to the top of inner 1 and jumps up into the overall top 5. That's a very good lap time for him right towards the end of this qualifying session. It is only about 0.04 of a second to himself and your inter-alien racer of Alex Velasco. Very good lap time from the 000 car to be able to jump his way up into P5 as we wait for some more drivers across the line. Jason Green going to be one of the next few, and as he comes across the line, will it be an actual on-merit lap time from Jason Green, or did he get another lap time invalidated? Yet to update here in our software, so I think Jason Green may have gotten another off track during that lap, so I think Jason Green will have to start this race at the very best in P26.
He's going to have a tough starting position. It's very interesting seeing Jeff Shillage. He put together quite a good lap. He's still only a little less than 0.2 ahead of second place in the inner 1 class of Justin Snyder, so we're looking at a pretty good race here. I mean, everybody from the top 12 separated within 1.764 seconds. So it's got a lot of opportunity for a lot of close racing all through the top of the field. You can see a lot of the inner alien guys have certainly put themselves at the top of the board, but the inner ones are really not far behind.
You know, we have seen some absolute standout performances from some of these racers over the season. I think the only inter-alien driver that we've had win a race up to this point actually took place at the very first round of the championship. I think I was mistaken a little bit earlier in saying that Adam Thompson was inter-1. I believe at the time there's a bit of confusion from what I saw that he was classed an inter-alien. So looks like the only non-inter-alien driver to win a race overall thus far this season was Adrian Lopez at the opening race at this exact same racetrack at Suzuka. So who knows? Maybe there's something in the air here at Suzuka International Raceway. I think that I may have just flubbed up the name of the racetrack. I will double check. No, I was close. Suzuka International Racing Course. I was kind of close, potentially, not too sure. I'm trying to give myself the benefit of the doubt and failing miserably at it. But the checkered flag is out here in this qualifying session. Looks like Stephen Case will grab yet another overall pole position from this season and will have an unobstructed view down into turn number 1. Let's get that starting grid loaded up for you right now. There is Stephen Case. He is your pole sitter from this race here at Suzuka. Kayla Michaelwitz will join him on the front row. In P3, it will be Danush Baburgi. Alongside him will be Ope Oladipo. In 5th will be your Inter 1 pole sitter of Jeff Shillage. In P6, it will be Alex Velasco. 7th, we'll find Justin Snyder. In P8, alongside him, completing our 4th row, it will be Tyrone Da Silva. In the 8th starting spot, Joshua Corin, your not spec 1, your Inter 1 champion, will start this race. In 9th, Adrian Lopez will round out your top 10. We have Jason Cotcher starting this race in P11. Jose Navas will start this race in 12th. Cooper Dillon will start this race in 13th. Alongside him will be Jason Trantham. Igor Grunsky will start in 15th. Alongside him is Adam Duvall. Diego Posada in 17th. Thomas Brashear in P18. Greg Meyer will start in 19th. Alongside him will be Aaron Van Wagner in the 999. Sarab Vase will start this race in 21st. Tyler Hagan will start alongside him in 22nd. Ken Glasser will start in 23rd. Alongside him will be Embria Hyde in the number 93 car. In 25th, we'll find Michael Hun. In 26th will be Jason Green. Rafael Cardenas will start in 27th. Alongside him will be Manish Suresh Kumar in the number 48 car, starting this race in 28th. Neil Day will start in 29th. Alongside him, Paul Mirsick. In 31st, I should say, is Josh Leslie, and 32nd is Jacob Guyton. In 33rd will be Dan Swanbeck. Christopher Wang will start this race in 34th, with Dan Clark running at your 35 cars set to grab the green here in a couple of moments. Time for the final race of this championship. I think we just have a few more cars left to join the grid here. Kennen, final thoughts before we get this hectic race, the final one of the season underway.
Looks like we got the lights are on. Stephen Case is going to be your champion. We've got a lot of drivers heading down in their turn 1. I expect a massive amount of position changes, and you already see it. Cars going 3, 4 wide. Let's see how turn 1 indicates.
And hang down into turn number 1. The green flag's out. The drivers are on their way. So some blank spaces a little bit farther in the back of the field. So I thought we were going to have a delayed green, but not at all. At the front of the field, though, Stephen Case happy to get this race back up and rolling as he is leading them, heading off through the S's for the first time. Caleb Michaelwitz going to be slotted in 2nd. Danush Baburgi riding at your podium runners as it stands at the present moment. They had their way side by side through the S's. Jason Green already making his way up to 24th. But one driver's on a hard charge already as Greg Meyer up 4 spots from where he started in this race. Just got moved on Igor Grunsky to jump his way up into the top 15 as they had their way into Degner for the first time.
You can certainly see a lot of give and take, really a testament to just the improvement of the racecraft. As we see a car get a little wide there, I think he gathered it back up, but real testament to just the racecraft, the sportsmanship of the Sim Racers Group Formula 4 League. Everybody's looking to settle in. It's a 20-minute race. It seems like it's very short, but as we've all kind of seen, there's lots of different incidents, lots of different mistakes that cost you way more time than you'll ever be allowed to make up in this kind of race.
I think Rafael Cardenas has had some sort of drama. He's dropping down like a rock. I was just going to note that Sarab Vase may have had some drama in his own regard in the 30, but right as I was going to say that, Rafael Cardenas slipped in behind. So Cardenas now 19 seconds back of your race leader, Stephen Case, and about 5 seconds back of your next car, the number 30 of Sarab Vase. So something may have gone on with Cardenas a little bit farther towards the back. We'll look at that in the not too far off future. For now, though, we've got some very good battling going on all throughout this field. Stephen Case is still your race leader. He has his way down into the Casio Triangle, the final chicane around this racetrack for the very first time. He leads in front of Caleb Michaelwitz in P2. Danush Baburgi still running at your podium. Ope Oladipo in 4th, and Jeff Shillage running at your top 5 as he still leads in Inter 1. Hoping to have a bit cleaner of a run to the final turn than we saw in the opening race of the season at this exact same racetrack, where it was a technical issue for Danush Baburgi that caused him to spear into the pit attenuator and caused a almighty collision heading onto the start-finish straightaway. Thankfully, again, with this series, damage is turned off, so these drivers won't have to worry about having sort of race-ending incidents unless they end up upside down and have to tow back to the pits. Outside of that, though, you can hit all the walls you want and you'll still be good to go.
Saw Alex Velasco just made an incredible double overtake over Obiola Debo and Jeff Silge. Went from sixth place to fourth place. That was quite a nice move going into turn one. Managed to take advantage of the draft, and really I was about to comment on how the top six didn't really change from where they qualified through the opening lap, and we get to lap two, and we see Alex Velasco. He's starting to move himself to the front. You see everybody's somewhat single filing out. We look through the top of the field. Dan Swanbeck is really on just a vicious start. He started 33rd. He's up to 23rd now. By far the hardest charger in the entire race, up 10 positions. And then we also look at who, and actually Dan Swanbeck just taking another position.
That was a big one, a little bit farther in the back. I think Igor Grunsky was possibly at the epicenter of all that. Yes, he was in the 17 car. He spun, I believe, heading into the braking zone into the second Degner. Tries to rejoin the racetrack. Gravel still on those tires as he spins, trying to gas it up. Into the side goes one car, but then someone absolutely clobbered him. There you go. Up in the air. Who was that? He landed on all fours and was able to keep going in a straight line. That's gonna end up on a YouTube short. That's some Need for Speed driven sort of stuff. That's absolutely insane.
The things you look up into the air and you pray to whatever deity you believe in, because that normally does not rely on any sort of survival. So we're thankful to see everybody kind of continuing that and not a big issue through it. So we're seeing a lot of movers through the field, some really intense racing. You're certainly going to see mistakes. This track really challenges everything. High speeds, hard braking. Cars are going to lose the rear end, like Ron said earlier. These cars basically have plyboards for aerodynamics. So whatever that plyboard isn't keeping up with, you're bound to lose it. And this track will certainly expose every bit of it.
These drivers head their way off through the S as well. Race this as well. Jason Green now up 9 spots from where he started in this race, currently slotted in 17th. Not the hard charger though. Dan Swanbeck, currently slotted in 20th, has gained the most amount of spots of anybody up to this point. He's up 13 spots from where he started in this race. Absolutely fantastic stuff from him. Already a quarter of the way through this final round of the championship as we follow Swanbeck in that number 7 car, heading his way off through out of turn number 7 right now, out of the S's and down into the Degner section here in just a couple of moments time. These 20-minute long races, some of the quickest that I get the opportunity to cover in my entire time on broadcasting. So especially with how hectic these races are, they can go by in the blink of an eye. So really important to have a good first quarter, because if you have a bad one, start off that journey of 1,000 steps by snapping your ankle, you're not going to have a good race from there.
Yeah, the track certainly creates a lot of difficulties for the drivers, but you've got a full field. It's a full track. It's too big to even just run one half of this course. We have to use the full course to be able to allow the Sim Racers Group Formula 4 Series to even race here. So it's non-stop action. You constantly have battles all over, throughout top to bottom. You have some drivers gaining 13 positions, like Dan Swanbeck. Actually have 16 positions now, up to 17th. So he is just moving to the front of the field. I mean, at this pace, I expect him to kind of have a top 10. He's really showing that he's got the race pace that a lot of other contenders don't.
I think there may have been some drama involving Diego Posada in the number 44 car. Let's take a look at this. He has his way down into the hairpin around this track, going for a dive on the 13 and contact being made. That was Posada going for that attempted overtake. Very, very easy to get sucked into going for an overtake there. And that was himself and Adam Duvall coming to blows as a result of all that. I think at all that JG2, Mr. Jason Green, was able to make up some spots. That or he had his own sort of drama. Yeah, you can see that was a drama going on. Ryan Frava. Oh no, that was Duvall trying to get turned around the number 13 car, and Jason having a slam on the brakes there. Considering the series does not have damage, he could have afforded to just run straight to the side of him. It probably would have resulted in him losing less time. Would not have been very pretty though, so I think Jason Green wants to keep that car as clean as possible. Slammed on the brakes, even though his pants aren't definitely clean after that.
Certainly not, but he did a phenomenal job of avoiding that incident, and I think it's kind of a testament to what the Sim Racer Group, the Formula 4 Series, is what it's all about. Where you're going to have incidents that create damage. Thankfully, it all pieces right back together, and you can continue quickly. The idea is to not race in that way. It's not a Mario Kart. Nobody's driving with an intention of bumping anybody. While it does happen, it's all about learning racecraft, learning how to drive around other drivers, how to have fast competition. This series really brings everything to the table when it comes to learning how to understand being a race car driver.
Yeah, it really teaches you everything. You got a lot of stuff that you have to worry about if you are running in this series, but you're gonna have a heck of a lot of fun running in here as well. And hey, these drivers looking to have some fun to cap off this season of racing action and looking ahead in the future here in the Sim Racers Group world here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. As that's a spin from the 35 of Ope Oladipo down into the final chicane, clipped that grass, hit the brakes, and lost it. Very easy to have something like that happen. Have a small little undulation in the braking zone, running off into the dirt, and you're going to spin around like a top. So an unfortunate moment for Oladipo. Let's ride on board with the California native as he heads his way down into the turn. Maybe a bit of target fixation with that car. I believe that was... looking through, I think that may have actually been our P3 runner of Danush Borgi, who went off the track a little bit farther up the road, but Oladipo spins all on his own, has to reverse into the runoff area as well to try and get spun back around in the right direction. As we take a look at a moment here involving the number 48 car, this is off through the spoon section, and that unfortunately is Manish spinning out of a pretty all right spot.
You see him in his Shishkamari just kind of lose the rear end, and you kind of see just how bad the affects. It's a very tight field today with all of our lap times. Oladipo, a little touch of the grass spins the car out. By the time he's able to get everything gathered back and the flag marshal was able to point him back on the speedway, he's down 10 spots, goes from 4th to 14th. It's just a ruining of a day. Everybody is so close on lap times. One little mistake is going to cost you dropping very far down the field.
See how much of the field is spread out up to this point. Stephen Case is entering and heading his way through the spoon section right now as the car's a little bit farther in the back or just exiting turn number 7. So this field definitely spread out a little bit. It comes with the challenges of running around this racetrack and the fact it's been a super hectic start to this race. Already about halfway through it right now. In fact, going to hit the halfway mark in about 5 seconds time. Stephen Case is still your race leader. Caleb Michaelwood slotted in P2. Danush Borgi still rounds out your podium in 3rd. Jeff Shillage is your top running of the Inter 1 drivers, as Inter 2 is still being led by Jose Navas. And that's how it stands at the present moment. Halfway into this final 20-minute long race of the season, as look at that racing action involving Shillage and the 777 of Velasco battling tooth and nails. They head their way over the Casio Triangle. Nice move there from Shilge, but it's not going to work out for terribly long as Velasco going to fight back and get that move done yet again to jump his way back to 4th.
You see they're leapfrogging back and forth. Shilge really made quite a effort of lunging that car on the braking zone and managed to hold it tight and got past Velasco, but it certainly did not complement his exit, and Velasco was able to carry the exit speed and get right back by. But we've got a very much back and forth game as we see Shilge giving it everything he can, using a little bit of crash there, doesn't lose too much time, but certainly you see Velasco's pushing hard, trying to create any kind of gap he can.
Continue to follow these drivers. I think this may turn into a 3-car battle in the not too far off future. You got Velasco in the 777 trying to pull away from Jeff Shilge in the 000 car. Then you've also got Josh Corwin involved in all that as well. Now, Josh Corwin, he is already your champion in that Inter 1 category here for Season 2 of 2025 here in the Sim Racers Group F4 Series. So, not a lot to prove if you are him, but he's looking to have a good way to end off this season. He's grabbed a couple of wins up to this point in the season. In fact, he's grabbed 3, which is not a lot compared to Inter 2, where Dan Mujak has been able to grab a staggering 7 wins up to this point on a 5-race win streak at the present moment, but I jinxed Corwin immediately. He was sideways throughout half of Spoon, and then finally loses as he heads his way down the hill, heading out of the turn. Unfortunately there for Corwin, was maybe going to battle for a spot inside the top 4. Instead, he's going to fall outside the top 10.
Probably one of the better commentators' curses that I've seen in our 12 weeks now, broadcasting on the Slow Motion Broadcasting Network. But you can just see, he was fighting it the entire time through the Spoon, just left, right, seesawing it. Finally, the rear end just couldn't hold up enough. It gives way. Thankfully, it didn't make any contact with anybody. Gets going pretty smoothly, so only a little minimal loss of time, but that really hurts his effort of going for P1 in the Inter 1 class for finishing off his championship run season today.
You know, our producer doing an absolutely fantastic job, Mr. Mike Braun. Him and I have gotten the opportunity to commentate some races together. I think he can confirm that I've pulled off some absolutely horrendous commentator jinxes over the years. So, Kennen, that's just the downside of this being our second show working together here on SMB. I have pulled off some real humdingers over the years. So that one, it's probably high up in my top 5, but certainly not the worst one I've pulled off. Probably not the worst one I've got to pull off this week, to be completely honest. As we take a look at this racing action involving Kukaran Dillon in the 24 car, and to try a little bit in that fight with himself, Ope Oladipo and Josh Corwin. That was a rather interesting battle because we had an Inter-Alien driver, an Inter-1 driver, and an Inter-2 driver all battling nearly 3 wide as they headed their way off through the S's, which frankly, through a section of racetrack like that, you think of the S's here at Suzuka, you think of putting the limits of your car to the test and just holding it there. You don't really think of going 3 wide off through the S's, but these drivers will prove me wrong every single time.
Yeah, 3 wide's pretty dangerous. It's pretty scary to even think you're capable of going 2 wide through there, but I think that just kind of proves Josh Corwin, he might be the champion, but he's not expecting to have a poor finish today, and he has a lot of position to catch up. He gave up 4 positions there. He's fallen back to 5th place in the Inter 1 group for the class today's race, and I think he's trying to see if he can maybe make up 6 or 7 seconds. I think he's probably out of time. We're just under 6 minutes to go in the race, and Stephen Case certainly with his half-second lead is gonna finish this race as quick as possible as we see him coming down the front straightaway. And I don't know, we'll just kind of have to see what happens with Corwin. He's obviously the champion, but quite a mistake. He's certainly pushing hard to get back up front.
As we're at the front of the field, and Stephen Case and Kayla Michaelwitz, they've got a chase down going on at the present moment. Michaelwitz just setting the fast lap of the race last time by as well. That was a very good time from him the last time out. That was a 202.624. That is a very good lap time. That's even quicker than Stephen Case's pole time for this race. So this is looking very good for the Triple Eight of Michaelwitz. Let's see if he will be able to get a move done here soon, as it's about 3 to 4 tenths of a second between these two racers. They head their way down the hill off into turn number 8 and 9. It's 5 minutes left to go in this race, so I'd say they're probably coming to 2 to go this time by if I had to do the other rough math in my head. Again, it's math from me, so chances are it's probably completely inaccurate, so you can take that with however many grains of salt you would like. Michaelwitz very deep in the brakes, heading his way off through the turn number 11 hairpin. That's not going to leave him with many opportunities to close up that gap yet again. Do want to raise, though, talking about the hard chargers, Dan Swanback, he's still on a hard charge in the number 7 car. He's currently sliding P15 at the present moment, and as it stands at the moment, 18 positions gained between himself and Jason Green, who's gained 12. That is an absurd amount of cutting their way through the field like a knife. Fantastic stuff from those two drivers.
And is really only about 2.5, 3 seconds away from Jason Green as well to take a 19th position forward. So he has really been hard charging. I don't know what the issue he was having in qualifying. And we see Joshua Corwin goes around again. So that's definitely going to put pretty much an end to his day, as we see he gets hidden to the rear by the 160 of Jason Green. Jason Green able to kind of go forward, not too much of a loss of time, but we may see Dan Swanback be able to make a move on him now. So that's really unfortunate, bad luck. And Josh Corwin, congratulations on the championship. Sometimes the finale doesn't go the way you want.
I'm sure he's just out here having a good time, and as I said, as we were taking a look at the championship point standings heading into the final race of this season earlier on in this show, the vast majority of the drivers in Inter-Alien and Inter-1 will be graduating to the Advanced F3 series that will be taking this time slot here on Slow Motion Broadcasting in season 3 of 2025 here in a couple of weeks' time. And don't worry, this fantastic F4 action you'll be able to catch on Tuesday nights here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. But as it stands presently, we've still got one last checkered flag to come out, and it's coming out in less than 3 minutes' time. Stephen Case and Kayla Michaelwitz still running nose to tails. They had their way off through the mid-sector of this lap, under the bridge, through the kink, and down into the turn number 11 hairpin. This is where we saw Michaelwitz maybe shed off a little bit of time earlier on. Now, I want to raise this to you here, Kennen. Galen Michaelwitz, a very quick driver. Stephen Case, quick as well. Michaelwitz, maybe, I wouldn't say has a bad taste in his mouth, but I think he was maybe eyeballing this season as the opportunity to win the championship. Not going to happen. Stephen Case, by taking the by taking the green flag, not even the checker, taking the green flag here at Suzuka, has been able to seal the deal and win this Inter-Alien Championship. With only one more lap of racing this time by here, Kennen, do you think Kayla Michaelwitz is going to try and force this issue too much just to end this season with a bang?
Certainly think the way that he's been driving, he's really been managing a 4/10 to 6/10 second. You see, he's bringing it all the way down to just under 3/10 of a gap going into the final chicane. I think he's really buying his time. They're coming to the white flag this time by. I'm almost certain. Yeah, as we see the flagman waving there in front of the stand, the white flag. So one more lap for these two. He's right there. Turn one could be an opportunity for him. I don't see why you don't try and maybe take a win. Caleb Michaelwitz, the winner at Tsukuba and Motegi this year. I think he's got a chance to try and prove a point. He brings it right up to the nose of Stephen Case. This is thrilling last lap.
Yes, as these two head their way off through the S's for the final time in this race and the final time in this season, Stephen Case is still going to be the trendsetter. Michaelwitz, on the other hand, he's there, he's studying, he's probably used this race up to this point following Stephen Case to try and figure out where his strengths and weaknesses are. You see, that's a rather interesting line from those two, heading their way off through turn at number 7, and it looked like Michaelwitz was close to shaving the grass, trying to edge the grass as he heads his way through on the inside of turn number 7. Case, on the other hand, looked like he was trying to swing wide a little bit. I think the mental game between these two racers are certainly going to come out on this final lap. They head their way down into the turn number 11 hairpin for the final time in this race. Case is going to be in the good spot if we had a broken up run through to the checkered flag. But because we've got those long flat out blasts, it is not going to be a straight shot between these two racers. Case, he's going to be the one punching the hole in the air. Michaelwitz, on the other hand, he's going to be there within striking distance. If he gets a good exit here out of Spoon, this may not be over here for this race. Michaelwitz, with a little bit of counter steering coming out of the turn, having to slow the wheel a teeny tiny bit, still has a good gap to himself and Stephen Case. Started off at about 4.5 tenths of a second on this run up to 130 for the final time. Going to dip down nearly to below 3/10 of a second, but this is a run. Will he go for it down the inside, off into the chicane? Michaelwitz got to think better about Stephen Case. Got to lead him off, but he runs a little bit wide, heading down into the braking zone. Will this be Michaelwitz's win for the taking? He's oh so close. Stephen Case going to take an offensive line. Got to be a photo finish at the end of this race, but Stephen Case got him.
I thought Michaelwitz was going to be able to make a run there. I wasn't expecting the Case to not have quite the best final chicane as he would have liked, but managed to keep that inside line shortest way to the checkered flag, and he barely got it by 800ths of a second.
We still got some other drivers left to finish this race in the smoke and the drama of that Inter-Alien and overall race win battle. Should be known that Jeff Shilge has been able to win in Inter 1 as an Inter 2. Kulkaran Dillon is going to win this race here in the number 24 car, finishing this race in P11 overall. Jason Green ends up in 12th. I think Dan Swanback got struck by a very light falling anvil right towards the end of this race. So onto 19 spots up where Murray started, so bravo to him. Bravo to all of these racers. That was fantastic. But that battle between Stephen Case and Caleb Michaelwitz, that was Stephen's win for the taking. But then he just overshot it ever so slightly down into the braking zone. And if that cost him a win, he would be kicking himself in the shins all the way up until week 1 of next season. That would be a heartbreaking way to end off the season. But instead, it's a close call more than anything, and Stephen Case going to walk away with another checkered flag from the season where he walks away as champion.
Certainly for Stephen Case, you could tell he was certainly watching in the mirror as he missed his breaking point. Managed to gather it all back together, didn't miss it too much, but it certainly made for quite a dramatic final corner. And also, I got to give a shout out to Kulkaran Dillon. We haven't mentioned his name a whole lot throughout the season. I don't know if maybe he was a little latecomer, but pulls off a victory in Inter 2, and it's really nice to see someone else different up front. Jose Navas getting second. Dan Swanbeck just absolutely flew through the field to get third place in the Inter 2. So that was it. Doesn't matter what class you were watching, there was good racing all throughout the field.
Yeah, that was an absolutely fantastic way to bring this season to a close, and I believe just about everyone has crossed the checkered flag up to this point now. So, bravo to these racers! What a season that we had here from start to finish for season three of for season two, I should say, of 2025. We got a whole lot of action to look forward to though in season three. But hey, if you want to stay up to date with all the racing action, how do you subscribe here to Slow Motion Broadcasting and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of the racing action? And with all of that being squared away and some more cars out there on the racetrack, I think we can get those results loaded up and let you know what the gaps were and what the finishing spots were at the very end of this race. It's also a quite close battle between Shilj and Alex Velasco at the very end of this race, but more on that here in just a few seconds' time. But Stephen Case walks away with another win at the end of it all. The driver of the 243 car walks away with a win here at Suzuka and a championship trophy to boot. Stephen Case wins it here at Suzuka for the final race of this season. Kayla Michaelwitz came oh so close, less than a tenth of a second at the line between those two racers. Danush Barborgi going to finish about 7.5 seconds back, rounding out your overall podium in third. That's going to be Jeff Shilj finishing this race in fourth, winning the Inter 1 category for the final race of this season. Alex Velasco will round out your top five. We have Justin Snyder finishing this race in sixth, Tyrone De Silva in seventh, Adrian Lopez in P8, Ope Oladipo in ninth, and series admin Jason Cotcher rounding out our overall top 10.
Yeah, it was a pretty thrilling finish throughout everybody, throughout the entire field, and it's nice to see Corwin with his championship. He had a little struggle today, so it's nice to realize even some of the people you didn't think were human all season long still had their bad race. They just managed to put together a championship run before they had it.
And we'll scroll through to see the rest of the results here. You can see a lot of drivers running into some difficulties at the end of this race. Some more shouts out. Josh Corwin not having the best race in the world, but he's still going to walk away as your champion in the Inter 1 category at the end of this season. The hard charger is Dan Swan back. Jason Green, the weekend warrior star in his series debut here in SRG, ends up in P12, 14 spots gain between the start and the finish. Man, if he had a good time in there and probably started this race a little bit farther up towards the front, who knows how things would have shaken out for him. But those are your results at the end of the final race of season 2 of 2025 here from the Sim Racers Group F4 series. And we do have some drivers looking to have a chat with us. I can see them up there in the interview waiting area. So Kennen, I'm going to let you have first dibs on the interviews. Who do you want to have a chat with?
Before we bring in Caleb Mikowitz, because I know we want to know what he was feeling, let's bring in the captain, Jason Cotcher. It's been a really phenomenal season. We know how excited he's been every week having everybody in. Let's ask him how he thinks the season went.
Yeah.
Hey, Jason, it's Kennen up here in the slow motion broadcasting booth. Can you hear me?
Yeah, guys, how you doing? Happy Wednesday night.
Oh, happy Wednesday night. It's the best night of the week when we see the Sim Racers Group Formula 4 series out here. And you obviously are the captain, and we thought we'd bring you in first. How do you feel like all 12 weeks went? Just the whole season together. We really have been just cheek to cheek smiling the whole time through.
Yeah, the growth of the whole community has been really impressive. I try to lead by example and coach for clean racing because that's really what, it's all about and what sometimes is missing in the officials. It was fun after the first couple of laps. What are we, 30 cars? I mean, in an iRacing official, you'll have 20 guys, and by lap 2, 10 of them are upside down on fire. So to see 30 cars still in a line, all nose to tail and battling, it's a great sense of pride, and it's such a fun community to race in. Super grateful for all of these guys and girls.
Oh yeah, and we joke about it all the time on the broadcast, but our producer Mike Braun, that guy, I don't know how he keeps up with all the cameras with such a full field. I mean, once first lap's done, you basically got cars end to end on the track. If you were a fan in the stands, you're constantly seeing cars go by. So it's been phenomenal. And even we brought up as well, this was our second time going to Suzuka. The baseline was our very first week at Suzuka, and it was amazing to see the different level of sportsmanship and the different way that the racecraft was given compared to our first week. Could you speak on that for a minute?
Yeah, I think it's like a gym buddy. When you join a league, everybody is slow, close quarters, and the three classes really mean that you get a chance to fight for real points every single week. And within the Discord, there's records that are set. You can see people are practicing, and Garage 61 is great. So it's really motivational to have people that you can race and trust and enjoy and look forward to racing with. It's been really impressive to see the skill sets come forward and the popularity come up. Everybody seems to be really digging it. It's just super grateful for that. So yeah, next season is coming the big split. These F4 kids, the Inter 2 specifically, will run in this time slot on Tuesday night. And for all of you fans of the upper half, the Aliens and the Inter 1 kids, we're going to F3 next season, Wednesday nights in this same slot, and it's damage on. Will be a teams championship, a drivers championship. The whole thing is moving forward, and we can only do that because everybody has really put the time in to build the skills, and everybody seems to be laughing and having a great time. I had a great battle with Adrian there at the end of the race. One of my best friends in sim racing. I really love that guy. He started coming in locally and racing all the time, and had to move to Michigan. But sim racing means that every week we can still bang wheels, and so super grateful for that. Super fun. He chased me down. He got me on the last lap in the spoon curve there, and I was hammering the haha button on my steering wheel trying to get him to laugh and make a mistake so I can get him back. It's a little bit dirty using comedy as a racecraft weapon, but there it is. So having fun, guys, having fun, and grateful to have you along.
That certainly speaks to the camaraderie of everybody, and I know you've worked so hard on this league, and everybody's so grateful of everything you do, not just throughout the world to make this league happen, but in your Sim Racers group location on the east side of San Jose. That you've got people actually showing up there and creating real friendships, real lasting memories, and see it all grow to a Formula 3 league. We were kind of joking. We don't even know whether it's an Inter 2 driver now or an Inter 1 driver now. We may be calling them in a Formula 3 car by next year. So it's really got us excited, and I think you've done a really awesome job with this season, man. Like, congratulations. What a job. Look forward to all the seasons to come.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate slow motion broadcasting. If you've got a league out there and you want to you want to pull it out of the basement and put it onto the screen, it's fun to send the aunts and uncles and grandmas a link and they can watch your broadcast. It's fun to see slow motion broadcasting come forward as well. All the great work that you guys do, the camera angles, you and Mike in the booth and Ron. It's really special, and it is. I credit slow motion broadcasting just immeasurably with the success of making it fun and making it a battle. And with every Wednesday night after we're done racing, we're running the F3 now as practice, but then we turn the broadcast on, and it's just a good time on a Wednesday night. So huge congrats to you, and thanks to you guys at Slow Motion Broadcasting. We'll look forward to seeing you next season.
Yes, sir. And without us, we can't do any of it without the product you put on the track, and the product you put on track is fantastic. So we will see you next season. Have a good off week. Make sure to get yourself prepared and back in shape. It's going to be another tough one.
F3, we're ready for it, man. Damage on, no more forgiveness. Let's go. Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir.
And Jason, as jumps over into
My
the
bad.
other, we'll drag him back in. Jason, I want to quickly before we go and let you go and get ready for season 3, I want to ask you one quick question. So we mentioned a little bit earlier on in the show talking about how Embriette Hyde has won the Billy Award at the end of this season. I briefly mentioned talking about William Campbell Peach and the impact that he left in the SRG community, but I want to give the floor off to you right at the end of the season to kind of speak about the kind of person that Embriette Hyde is, and the kind of person that Billy was, and the impact that he had in the SRG community.
Yeah, what's funny, Billy was great. He raced with soul. He raced with compassion. He was mad at himself if it was his mistake that hurt somebody else. And after he passed away and we lost him, I started watching some of his races back that I had saved. And as the official, it dawned on me I hadn't seen a lot of his races because he was so clean and compassionate. Usually, as the admin, as the police, I only see what goes wrong out there. And we lost him, and I thought he was such a shining example of the personality side and the camaraderie side, and the emblem, just a perfect emblem of the culture that I wanted to create. So we created the Billy Award, to award racers. There's so much in racing where the accolades go to the winners, and so it's always nice to be able to slap somebody on the back and say great job, for something other than having the fastest lap time. And the first winner of the Billy was Adam Duvall, last season at the end of season one. He it embodies that exactly. Very clean, very courteous, hard racing, but always fair, and everybody loves racing with Adam. It was quite poetic that Adam, being so close to Billy, as best friends in real life, there was certainly some poetic, result there to have that go to him and to have him be so deserving of that. It's a lot of fun to give away, and this season it goes to Embriette Hyde. She and also embodies all of those characteristics. I talk to people in the league all the time. Who do you like racing with? Who's your favorite? Who do you want to see? Who do you want to be wheel to wheel with out there? And Embriette's name comes up a lot, for those that race with and against her. And she is just a bright star in our Inter 2 class. We're looking forward to her racing with us in F4 next season. And yeah, so that's really who Billy was to us. It was fun to meet other people in his life from his other passions that all spoke, of the same character that we knew. He was a very authentic person. Every single time you hung out, it was always Billy, and it was always great. So that's one way that we can continue to honor and remember him, by awarding those personality traits that are demonstrated in racing. It can be super competitive. You can get red mist. You can want to beat somebody so bad you don't care if you bash them off. That's not really what we're about. And so it's a shine. Billy was an example of that, and to give that award and recognize and thanks people that also race that way is really important to us. So congratulations, Adam, on the season one award, and congratulations, Embriette Hyde, on the season two award. Well deserved, full marks. And yeah, so we're just looking forward to giving that away for seasons to come.
And very nice to hear about the award and everything of the sorts. As much as you kind of touched on a couple of moments ago there, Jason, as much as racing is always that sort of sport where you want to beat your team, you don't want to beat who you're racing against so much, you don't really care what happens out there on the racetrack. At the end of the day, we're all racers. We're all here to have a good time, and always nice to see a community rally behind members of the community to uplift everybody and just have a really good day of racing action. Jason, thank you for joining us. Thank you for the season. Thank you for organizing these fantastic events, and looking forward to season 3 here on SMB with SRG.
Cheers, guys. Can't wait. Thank you very much.
And that right there was Jason Cotcher. And sorry for punching in there a couple of moments ago, Kennen. And I am now going to drag in Kalen Michaelwitz to have a chat with us. He was oh so close to winning it here, but at the end of the day, just a little bit short on Stephen Case, but still a very valiant effort for you, Kalen. Welcome in here to the commentary booth. How about you talk us through this race that we just saw here at Suzuka tonight?
Hey Ron, yeah, it was gonna be Suzuka short, but we had to change it up since Suzuka short doesn't have either enough pit stalls or grids, and that was better for me because I was completely not ready. Um, yeah, I actually liked today's race because it was hot. I think 127 degrees Fahrenheit could slide the car more. Usually these F4 cars tend to understeer. Uh, but yeah, I was having a struggle trying to keep up with Steven in the opening laps, and he was just pulling away 10th by 10th by 10th. And I think Danush probably went off to not rear end me. I got 3 second slowdown or something. And from then on, I just focused up, tried to get closer to Steven. I knew I was faster than Steven in sector 1, but sector 3, he just had me beat. And yeah, I pulled a funny maneuver at the last chicane, and that somehow messed him up. So we had a nice photo finish, but otherwise, yeah, it was a good race for me.
Yeah, it looked like a good one, and you treated us to a fantastic battle right towards the end of that race. I thought it was going to be a photo finish, which it certainly was between you and Stephen Case, but still, absolutely brilliant racing between you two. You two are also going to be making the step up for season three, moving off into the advanced F3 series. It's going to be on the same day, going to be on the same time here on Slow Motion Broadcasting as well, but complete different challenge with those Delara F3 cars. So as we get ready for season three. What are your thoughts heading off into the F3?
Oh, I love the F3 car so much. I think it's probably one of the best cars on iRacing. The amount of downforce that you have, the amount of play you have to transition between understeer and oversteer and catch slides is so much better than this F4 car. So I'm really excited. I'm also excited for the team based aspect of it. That to get a chance to like do a constructors championship and work with my teammate to get more points and maybe finally beat Steven at something. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And I'm certainly going to be looking forward to it as well. I'm absolutely with you there, Kalen. I adore the F3 car here in this sim. It was my first love here on the iRacing platform, and really nice to see an F3 series coming here to SMB for season three. But hey, Kalen, we'll let you give any thanks and shouts out before we let you go and celebrate and get some practice in for the start of the brand new season.
Yeah, love to shout out Jason Cotcher as always. Putting on this league, dealing with last minute craziness, like your session that you built can't be used. Reorganizing everything. I know that's a lot of work, and he has to split his attention between trying to be a racer and trying to be a league admin all the time. So I really appreciate that he puts in that effort. Also love to give a shout out to my girlfriend Kimberly. She's been watching all my races, and she's probably like my number one fan. Will support me even if I DQ last week or finished for second, third. So yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah, over to you guys.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, thank you very much for joining us here in the commentary booth. Well done on the P2 here tonight. See, excited to see you in some different type of machinery in a couple of weeks' time.
For sure. Thanks, Ron. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Kennen.
Thank you.
And that right there was Kayla Michaelitz, your P2 finisher at the end of this race. And we also have Adrian Lopez waiting up there in the interview waiting area. So, Kennen, I'll let you have the opportunity to have a chance to chat with the driver of the 007 car.
Yeah, how's it going, Adrian? Nice top eighth place finish there today. 2 spots from where you were qualifying, starting 10th. How would you describe your race? What would you like? What did you not like about today at Suzuka?
Oh, that was a mixed bag of emotions. I absolutely love Suzuka, and my first race on the season here, I pretty much dominated that race. But this time I was just struggling. I just couldn't put it all together on the same lap. Um, and then I had a nice little battle with Joshua in the beginning. But on the last chicane, tried to do a little under over because I noticed he overshot it, and I don't think Justin realized that I was gonna do an over under, and just clipped me right there at the end. And then the rest of the race was just trying to fight my way back up to the same spot, which was fairly easy until I got to Jason. And then I was like, oh man, this is gonna be like he's not gonna make this easy for me. We had a little bit of a battle in practice, so I knew he wasn't gonna just give me the spot. But probably one of my favorite battles. It's always with Jason, but this one is probably the top one.
And I think Jason, when we had him to interview, may have mentioned he was trying to play some unsportsmanlike games to get you to mess up there on the final lap, trying to maybe make you laugh a little bit as you were breezing away from him. So, well, don't tell him I told you that, but maybe there was a little bit of gamesmanship going on there. But you still got fourth in class. I'd have to pull up where you finished overall in the Inter One series. Looks like probably should have secured third place. How do you feel like your whole season went overall?
It was kind of up and down. Beginning of the season wasn't too bad. Then I kept having a lot of silly mistakes and kind of being bounced around like a ping pong ball and Fuji, and uh not really doing good strategies with tires when it was raining versus dry on a few tracks. could have secured a first in Bathurst and just messed that up as well. So very very up and down. I also did have one race that I completely missed because my GPU fried from my CPU coolant dripping all over it. So that was fun. Um, but definitely my result here is not my normal performance. Usually better and more consistent. So I just gotta work on it a little bit. But still enjoyable. And with battles like what I had today with Jason, I kind of don't even care what place it is. I just want the battle.
And certainly this track, as we were watching it, there's battles all throughout the field. Very tight. It's a very technical track. You were our season opener winner in Suzuka. You were also the N-Class winner when we were at Mount Panorama. So it looks like 2 wins in a season is really good. Are you moving up into the Formula 3 series next season, or will you stay on the top of the Formula 4?
I will be going to Formula 3. I believe I'm a little bit better overall in F3 than I am in F4. At least on a consistency standpoint. Um, but I will miss the F4. I do kind of like the way that it drives, the low downforce, the neutral steer you can get from it, the ability to catch it in a drift. It's enjoyable. The F3 is a bit less forgiving in that aspect, but still for some reason I'm more consistent on that one. So I do like that. Bathurst also that you mentioned, that was fun because that was actually the day I bought a replacement GPU off of Facebook Marketplace after work, ran to go get it, ran back home to install it, and I finished installing it when practice was ending already, and I just jumped right into Bathurst in the rain. So I don't know how I pulled that off, but yeah, that
Well,
was fun.
that sounds comparable to a real life pit crew pit stop. When you've got to put the car back together, you make sure it makes it on time for the grid. And it
I,
sounds like you did it in the success game.
Yeah, I think under stress and adrenaline, I think I might and pressure, I probably performed a little bit better that way. So now I just need to come up with some kind of excuse to be under pressure every week so I can perform that good.
Yeah, well, I'm sure getting in the Formula 3 car and seeing the lap times everybody's running and the more horsepower you're going to have behind your back in that car, that's going to create a little more focus, a little more pressure. So we're looking forward to seeing how you do next year when we get to watch that series.
Oh yeah, I will definitely be putting on a show for sure.
Yes, sir. So thank you so much, man. Best of luck in the next series. Great job this season. Well done on the third place in the points. Congratulations.
Thank you guys. You have a good one.
Yes, sir.
And that right there was Adrian Lopez in the 007 car. See, I had to hype it up as if it was Bond. I would be disappointed in myself if I didn't do it. But man, what a season it was here for the SRG F4 Championship. Some brilliant racing that started all the way back in March. And looking forward to season 3 of 2025 here in the SRG world. The F4 is going to be moving to Tuesdays at 9:45, and you'll be able to catch on Wednesdays at 9:45 the all-new SRG F3 series. Kennen, final thoughts before we wrap things up from this season?
My first ever season as a broadcaster, commentator, color commentator, I suppose we could call it. That was quite a thrilling season. I've enjoyed every Wednesday night. When I get home from work on Wednesday nights, this is the biggest thing I look forward to. I can't wait to call it. I can't wait to watch the drivers race. It's been phenomenal start to finish. I can't wait to do it again.
I gotta say, from my perspective as well, here at Slow Motion Broadcasting, I absolutely adore having the Sim Racers Group Series here on SMB. Myself and Mr. Josh Wilkie, we cannot thank Jason Cotcher and all the crew over at SRG enough for putting on these absolutely fantastic races week in and week out. They're true racers over there. There's no question about that. And again, shouts out as well to you, Ken, in your first season here on Slow Motion Broadcasting and your first full season commentating. So welcome into the commentators world. Hope I will give you some advice right now. Don't talk too much about falling anvils, otherwise you're gonna end up like me. Mike, fantastic job as always working the cams and working the comms with me on the first broadcast of the season here all the way back in March. Special shout out as well to usual lead commentator here on these broadcasts, Mr. Jair Gregory, who does a fantastic job week in and week out as well. But for all of you tuning into these broadcasts all throughout the season, hopefully you can stay tuned for season 3 if you want to. Have it hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss out on any of the racing action. But as for this broadcast today, for the final race of the Sim Racers Group Intermediate F4 Championship here in season 2 of 2025, that will do it. So for myself, Ron Maunz, Kennen Miller joining me in the commentary booth, and Mike Braun doing a wonderful job working all the cameras and the graphics in the virtual production hauler, I say thank you also very much for watching this broadcast here on Slow Motion Broadcasting tonight, and we hope to see you all wherever it is in the not too distant future.